Mexico, home of the Mount Everest of motorsports, the Baja 1000. Since 1967, thousands of racers have entered to challenge their minds, bodies, and machinery in the ultimate test of logistics, speed, and endurance. A race so challenging, half of the vehicles time out or succumb to the elements every year, and just finishing it all is something to be proud of. Winning is a feeling that some men have spent their entire lives chasing. At the top of the food chain, competing for the overall victory, sits the unlimited trophy trucks, million-dollar machines that lead the pack with no restrictions on horsepower, suspension, or budget. These trucks are built from the ground up with one purpose: to win off-road races by any means necessary, and no expenses spared. These monsters can outrun a Robinson helicopter, soak up bumps the size of Buicks, and carry speed over jumps that would obliterate any other vehicle on Earth. Nothing is more capable or better suited to take on the relentlessly brutal Baja terrain, which makes them a natural weapon of choice for racing royalty like Robbie Gordon, Alan Impudia, Larry Rosler, and the late great Ken Block. It's not out of the ordinary for the average trophy truck team to have a 50-man crew carrying out pit stops and making repairs, plus air support following from above. Despite their speed, support, and budgets, only about 50% make it to the finish line every year, and a total of 38 different four-wheeled classes stand below them, with each getting progressively less capable and more challenging. And sitting at the very bottom is the stock Volkswagen Bugs of Class 11, with less than 100 horsepower, around 8 inches of wheel travel, and a time limit that allows very little room for error. These guys are the ultimate underdogs, and they garner the utmost respect from top drivers down to casual race fans, as everybody knows that all the odds are stacked against them. If Class 11 is David, then the Baja 1000 would undoubtedly be Goliath.
Nobody knows what we went through, only me.
Go! Fuck the speed zone, go!
We're not gonna make it. It's literally gonna be down to the minute. Yeah, Baja's not for the weak, the people who give up, you know? You gotta grind it all the way out.
My name is Alex Gonzales, team owner of GHA Racing. I've been racing since 2005 on and off in a few different classes. We actually got into it randomly. My father bought an auction item, and it was a trip to Ensenada to the wide open Baja tours, and ever since then we were hooked on off-road racing. You know, we started off big. We went Class 1, which is an unlimited car, super nice car, big horsepower. We did okay in Best in the Desert in the Class 1. You know, I got a couple top 5 finishes and I think qualifying. Probably didn't start doing really well until we got into the spec truck. In 2014, we went out to a race in Parker, and my buddy Jerry from Camberg Engineering just had built their spec truck, which is like the new class at the time. From there, we're like, man, that's a great class. And we sold the Porter, and then we ordered a spec truck from Jerry. In 2015, we debuted that. Podiumed our very first race in Parker. The Mint, we got second, went on and got a couple other wins that year. I think the Silver State 300 and the Mackenzie 250, I believe. So we got second in the points championship in 2015. And then 2016 we went and I won first in class in the Parker race. Then a couple other podiums I think throughout that year. The one person that we probably could not do this without, I would say, is Clyde. He's our man. I don't know, but without Clyde there, it's just something's off. So as far as like logistics, just being the go-to guy, he puts in a lot of work and has a ton of experience. That's for damn sure. He's been racing with me for a long, long time, and he's just always that guy that's a wealth of knowledge. He's like an uncle or something, you know.
The only reason to go from a spec truck to a Class 11 is because it's cool. There's only two classes that matter in desert racing, trophy truck and Class 11. Class 11 is way more hardcore than trophy truck.
Always wanted to race it, just never really, knew the right people, I guess. So everything kind of aligned, and we did one first race in Prim, blew up the motor, and from there we kind of got the bug and was like, all right, if we're gonna do this, let's do it right.
My name is Tim Sletton, owner of Sletton Engineering. I am engine builder, prep guy / driver for the race team. And I've been involved in off-road racing since I was born. I've known Alex for, not personally, but knew of him for a long time. We're both from the valley here. I remember watching him race his one car when he was a teenager. I think about 4 or 5 years ago, I seen he had bought a Class 11. So I shot him a message, when are you gonna race? Oh, sometime soon. And then one day out of the blue, I got a message from him that he wanted to race. He ends up going out, blowing up the engine that came with the car. Goes, buys another one, puts it in, blows that one up at King of the Hammers, which was the next race. I thought for sure he was gonna be one of those guys that was like, oh, I'm out of this. This is a pain in the ass. But no, he stuck with it. I told him a couple times, like, hey, let me build you an engine. It was kind of him hot first, but he ended up pulling the trigger.
I ended up racing with GHA because of Tim. We were racing actively together as a pair with Empi for 2 years, and then he brought Tim on board, and I was just kind of, the package with Tim. So, I ended up being able to navigate for Tim at first, and then Alex down the road.
So I started racing with GHA Baja 500 2021. I knew Tim, but I didn't know Clyde or Alex. That's when I met these guys, and I started racing with them, and we became friends, and now we're part of the team.
And then we got Chase One, our main man, Byron Nias. Tim's co-driver is Nelson Fonte.
Monica and Dennis.
Sauce.
Adrian.
Edgar Romero.
Ryan, Ralph, Mario
Delgado.
And then you had Rudy and Adrian.
2021, we kind of debuted this car in the Score Series. First race of the season, which is San Felipe 250. Had a bad showing there, had a bunch of little issues, and ultimately was a DNF. I think there was a lot of people that's like, oh, I told you so. It's not going to be so damn easy. These guys coming from spec trophy truck think they can, come and race a bug, and they know what it takes. We're like, all right, what the hell happened? What do we got to do? So we kind of came back with another mindset. We came to the 500, won that.
First time in like several years that somebody finished the Baja 500. We went out and did it, won.
That was huge. That was a major accomplishment. I don't think anybody had finished it since 2017.
And then we won the Baja 400.
So that was, okay, well, these guys are serious. They just won 2 big races in a row.
Then we got a third at the Baja 1000.
Had some issues, but that was an epic race. Literally, there was probably 5 or more of us battling to the very end. 40-something hours, no sleep, changing the transmission, just battling Baja all the way down, and to just finish that one was epic. So
2021, we won the Class 11 championship, which I guess is, the ultimate as far as our accomplishments.
Won that by a lot, and that was really, really cool. At this point, I don't really care about the championships, but I do want to win the Baja 1000 in something, and a Class 11 is, in my book, I think the ultimate thing to win a Baja 1000 in.
The overall first place trophy truck, it's different. It has the power, has the wheelbase, it has the wheel travel. It has everything. Class 11 has nothing. Nothing.
It can be challenging in a lot of different vehicles that are better suited for that terrain.
It's tough in a truck on 39-inch tires with 700 horsepower, and to make it through in one of these is like no other feeling. I mean, it's just
it's a bucket list.
We're riding around in a 50-year-old bug now. I mean, things like a 68 or 69. The beam, all the suspension components, these are all like 50-year-old components.
It's basically stock, just reinforced.
You have to pace yourself. You have to know what the car can and can't do. You don't want to break the thing, so they're very tender, and you have to treat it as such. But at the same time, you gotta smack it in the ass every once in a while.
To get through these Mexico courses, I mean, you have to drive your ass off, and you have to really drive this car and work to finish.
More than once, you're gonna think it's impossible.
Everything's hooked up, dude. I don't know what to do.
Some of the stuff we go through, like if you were just standing there looking at it, you would just be like, no, it's not possible. You can't do it until you dump the clutch in first gear and 6,500, 7,000 RPMs, you're burning out this mountain and you make it to the top and you're just like, I cannot believe I just did that. And it's like in Mexico, that's every 20 miles, every 10 miles, you know.
A lot of people have a lot of respect for Class 11 drivers.
Some would think that, oh, you know, why would you want to race that thing? You must be pissing blood or your back must be killing you. Yeah, it is that. I think that's what makes it so cool.
It's like way gnarlier than any other class, that's for sure. Just, we get our ass kicked out there and we keep coming back.
I like to prove myself. Everything is doable in life. And that's I think, to me, I'm probably wrong, but to me is the greatest example. We're gonna go through a lot of stuff. It's gonna be a long race, long day. But I love the challenge. I really enjoy proving myself.
Going down there, you spend a lot more than you'll ever win. And I think that goes for anybody from Class 11 all the way up to trophy truck.
It's all for, you know, a little bit of glory.
What do you win when you climb Mount Everest? You win a selfie or a picture of yourself saying, I'm better than all you motherfuckers.
Racing in Mexico is just the pinnacle, dude. It's the ultimate. I mean, that's where the biggest, longest, gnarliest races in the world go down. And you just have like a way larger respect for the terrain and the areas you're racing out there. It's just so desolate. You come across things that you would never come across in the States.
The terrain's different, the people are different. It's just a magical place.
You get the Barstow. Barstow is rough, but Baja has everything. Rough, a lot of whoops, sand, uphills with sealed beds. Besides that, the people there are completely different. It's amazing how they're willing to help.
Peter and I hit a turn a little too hard and we kind of bounced the car up onto a silt turn. And in the middle of nowhere, nobody else around, there happened to be a little family sitting there, a mom, a dad, and a daughter. We didn't even have to get out of the car. They immediately rushed to the back of it and actually pushed us and we got unstuck. And that is Mexico to me.
They're out there cheering you on and 2 in the morning when all the other classes have already passed.
Trophy trucks are already back in the United States and we're still racing.
Like way out in the middle of nowhere where you're like first gear wound up, pinned, just trying to make it through the silt, and they're like there somehow in a van, just, you know, screaming at you to go with a fire. And that's what makes Baja special. There's the people, I think. It's a culture, it's a holiday, the kids are off. I mean, they just absolutely love the off-roaders. You know, it's like the people's class. Everyone loves these things. You could park it next to a trophy truck and you'll probably get more attention in this. They all come up to you and, oh man, you're crazy. You know, what are you thinking? Or, you know, you're a warrior. They're always calling you warrior. This is the warriors class.
You know, and they see us as the underdog, which maybe they consider themselves the underdog. You know, I don't think that they can relate to jumping in a trophy truck or a lot of the other vehicles.
Class 11 taught me a lot. There's no problems in life. They're just challenges. There's always a solution to get out of the hole where you are.
It humbles you. That place is no joke. It's a dangerous place.
You are not in control of anything and you just have to go with the flow and be able to adapt to whatever it throws at you. There's
been so many situations where you're battling for 40 hours straight, you haven't slept, and those are the moments where you have to like dig deep and decide how you're gonna act in those moments, right? We're all tired, you can be an asshole to your teammates, or you can really buckle down in those situations and handle your business. And that's what I like about Class 11 is just like the mental endurance that it takes to race a gnarly long race like that, and a Class 11 is hardcore.
prep starts immediately after every race. It's like you're driving home thinking about what we got to do, making calls, shooting texts. I mean, shocks have to go out, trans has to go out, Tim's got to do the motor. We got to order parts from Empi. We got to assess this, assess that. I mean, so they literally, it doesn't stop all year.
Tim and I usually take on the prep together. You know, Tim's always been the guy, you know, with Sletton Engineering, obviously that's what he does for a living. And, you know, I just come over, help him out.
Between the 400 and the 1,000, I think we only had 2 months. We had to rebuild the engine. We had to completely tear the car down and build it back up from the ground up.
You just go through everything completely. You have to strip the entire car down. You got to pressure wash the car. You know, the arms need new ball joints. The rear arms need new bearings. Every nut and bolt gets touched. Every crack gets inspected and just gets rebuilt, you know, from the ground up every race.
It literally comes down to bare bones minus the wiring.
There's not one thing we don't take apart.
I'm probably 60, 70 hours into this, but it's all in the details, especially when you go down to Mexico, because there's no forgiveness. Baja will exploit any problem you allow it to. So it's already tough as it is. You don't want to give it any other ammunition.
You know, we kind of rely on Clyde for the logistics. You know, he kind of lays out the whole plan for us.
I think Clyde's role is just to handle everything. I mean, it's just what he does.
Really, I mean, as soon as you decide that that you're gonna race it, it's all consuming. We need all these spare parts. We need to know how many wheels we're gonna have, who are we gonna bring. I start thinking about prepping the chase vehicles, and then obviously as soon as the map comes out, I'm on the phone with Tim and Armando and Alex. We're talking about drivers, you know, everything. So it's an ongoing process all the way literally up until the day.
So pre-running, we kind of all do our own thing.
We all get assigned our sections, we know what we got to do, and then we go down there and take care of it as an individual with our co-driver.
Pre-run section 1, about mile marker 55. Lots of mud, lots of whoops. Pete's out there somewhere. He's taking a dump.
Mucho better. Always bring napkins pre-running, clutch. How it goes down is, you know, Alex is gonna drive the vehicle we're gonna pre-run in. I'm gonna be staring at the GPS the whole time, just like I am in the car. We're glancing lines, we're using satellite imagery to look for, you know, better lines.
You could spend 20 minutes on researching a different line and it saves you 4 hours of being stuck. It's huge.
Race mile 100-ish?
100-ish.
What do you think so far?
Pretty damn rough, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, huh?
Going down the summit right now, some huge rocks. It's gonna be interesting on race day if someone gets bottlenecked there.
I had a new navigator this race at the Baja 1000, this guy named Eric.
So Clyde likes to call me Eric, and it's caught quite a wave with the crew.
I don't know, it just was easier for me to say it. And then everybody else started saying it. And then he has just assumed the new identity as Eric on the team.
My real name is Chris, but I would say, you know, if someone yells Eric, especially in Mexico, I'll probably turn around.
Eric!
He came down and did some photography at the Baja 1000 in 2021 and then just kind of probably just got hooked, you know, like the rest of us.
And he was just one of those guys you didn't have to ask him multiple times to do anything. You tell him to do it and he jumps on it. Here comes the 1,000, and Clyde needed a navigator and he got his shot, you know, and I think that is a little insight to guys who want to get into off-road racing or really any motorsport is you got to put in the time. And it doesn't matter where you start. As long as you're there when somebody needs you to do something or you're called upon and you do it, that's where the chances are going to come from.
Eric did good on his first pre-run, namely because he learned. So a day without learning is a day that you wasted, and he did not waste that day.
I messed up one major time.
He sent us down some shit.
And I kind of thought Clyde was gonna leave me in the desert for it, but I realized that he still needed me for the race, so that was good.
We went through about fucking 8 miles of the gnarliest, stupidest fucking terrain really that we've been through so far. And so it turns out we were just doing that for fun. He sent us about an hour out of the way.
8 miles through the worst stuff we had gone through all day.
This is like a lesson type of situation, right? Where you're kind of like, well, that was a really good fuck up. So let's let that burn in real good. Right? Is it working?
Yeah, it's working. Yeah, Clyde shamed me for the rest of the day.
One of my fondest memories is when he goes, man, I feel really bad. I go, fuck, you should. I hope you feel bad.
I feel terrible.
Okay, good.
I think he'll probably remind me of that moment until the day that one of us dies.
Contingency is where everybody that enters the race has to go and make sure that their car is legal to race, and then they get tagged, get their Stellas, everything to make sure the car is 100%. It's also a party at the same time for the locals.
All the fans come up, you're giving them stickers and wristbands and autographs, and everybody gets to view your car and the team kind of gets to hang out.
This year, they did a 2-day contingency, and I was actually super surprised when we showed up. I mean, what was there, 8 cars in line? There was nobody. I was like, what is going on? But I didn't go back the next day, but I think it was a lot more packed. We are 26 hours from start time. Final once over on the car. There's a couple things to do. We got to drill some holes. We got to get some tires mounted. And I think that's about it. I mean, very little stuff to do, but we're almost there. I mean, I feel good, but I know there's going to be a curveball out there somewhere.
Now we're just going to run through the logistics of the race one time with everybody. We all get together. Pit A's here, Pit B's here, Pit C. This is how many miles. This is the time we expect you to get there. If they're not here by this time, who's going to go where?
So it just explains everything. You know, what we're doing at every single pit. Who's going to be here, who's going to be there, if this is a visual, if this is a full pit.
It's kind of like a mission briefing.
That's just an overall brief of your whole next day or days.
And with our pre-race meeting, it's to inspire some more confidence, I think, in everybody, that you just feel extremely prepared. You know, you'll execute better when you feel that way.
That final meeting is basically to let everybody know the shit's about to hit the fan. That morning of, man, I just wake up and I go, man, I can't believe it's here. We've been waiting all this time, we're doing all this prep. We got a few hours and we're gonna be racing. I live for that. I live for that race morning.
We leave the house or wherever we're staying together, go to one meeting point, unload the car, say a prayer, and then me and my co-driver, which in this case is Pete, we would jam to the start.
No, we're stoked, dude. Hopefully everything goes good. We're ready to get after it. You know, the prep's done. It's just time to go to work, so we'll see you at 160.
You know, you hate the downtime. I hate waiting. Alex hates waiting. You got to sit for hours at the start line because we're the last class to stage. So your nerves are just going nuts the whole time. But as soon as the green flag drops and you get, you know, 5 seconds into the race, everything kind of calms down and we just go to work. I think the Mexican teams put a little bit of a target on our back after 2021. You've not only got like the rivalry between teams, you've got like an international rivalry going on, right? They feel like, you know, it's their country to win in, for some Americans to come down into their backyard and end up winning. I think it definitely like pushed the envelope for all the teams that are active down there. And it made a really interesting 2022.
This year we started at 11:58 a.m. We were off the line. We had 36 hours to finish, and we started in second place.
Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say. Mother, mother, can you keep them in the dark for a while? Can you hide them from the wedding world? Oh, mother, father, gonna take your daughter out tonight. Gonna show her my world. Oh, mother, Lord, I'm bound to see your light. But if you want about hell,
Car 1145 was in front of us. You know, you could see his dust, which gets you a little amped up. So we're like, okay, 840 something more miles to go. Don't get too crazy.
and if you want about hell with me, I can tell you what it is. Mother, tell your children not to hold my hand.
You know, we kind of had an idea that we would pass them, you know, fairly quick. I don't know, maybe mile marker 7, 8. We ended up getting behind them, you know, using the siren. You know, he didn't pull over for a while. I was a little pissed.
While Alex and Pete work to maintain their lead, the rest of the crew has entered a race of their own on the highway, en route to Visual 1 at approximately race mile 35, better known as Ojos Negros.
As far as I'm concerned, all the hazards are on the highway.
Chasing, I think, is probably more dangerous than us being in the race car.
Hazards are everywhere in Baja.
They come in all shapes and sizes.
Whether it's livestock on the road,
People driving the wrong way on the highway, people driving with their light bars on, oncoming traffic just blinding you,
Drunk drivers.
roads washed out.
The locals are flying all over because there's so much traffic.
Chase trucks on the highway flying around.
They're passing on corners, up hills, down hills.
There's no shoulders on these roads.
Came up on semis, stopped in the middle of the road with no lights.
There's no room for error on the highways.
That's a really, really dangerous part of it is the chasing.
I mean, you really have to be paying attention down there or else you get yourself in some trouble.
We have enough people set up to where it's, you know, you're not having to do 100 miles an hour to get to a pit. But that's a huge part of it. If one of you guys doesn't come home, I mean, it's a loss for everybody.
Dangerous or not, there's a job to be done. Without the chase crew, the race car won't make it 100 miles, let alone 1,000. They leave Ensenada excited and energized, but by the time they return, chances are they'll have been awake for 35 to 40 hours tending to the needs of the car. These are the unsung heroes that make this all possible, and today, Objective number 1 is to beat the race car to Ojos.
We're at Ojos, Rudy. I sure could go for a fucking update. 11:11 is at 21 and a half, 0 minutes ago. 11:21, 1 minute ago. 11:45, 3 minutes ago. So we should start seeing them soon.
Clemente guys caught us probably, I don't know, 15, 20 miles in.
We get a beep on our Stella that someone's behind us, and we're like, what the hell? So we look, and it's the Clemente car, 1105, I believe. You know, he's right on our butt. Your first instinct is to like, okay, well, all right, well, let's do it then, let's go.
And that was the first time in history, in the spec truck or in the bug, that Alex has been passed on the road. You might pass us on the side of the road if we got a flat or we're having a problem or whatever. But if the car's running good, Alex is behind the wheel, you're not getting around.
And then I just backed off. I'm like, you know what? We still got 700 and something more miles. Let's just let him do his thing.
I had talked to him about it, and he was like, oh, I could run with him, but he didn't want to run with him that early in the race and throw it away. I mean, you're not doing any good if you break the car in half by race mile 7.
And I think we ended up getting back by him. He took like a slower line and got stuck behind, I think it was a Jeep. Just kept our normal pace. You know, we came down where the two courses had met, and we didn't see him. So we're like, all right, cool, you know, we're back in the lead. And at that time, we were coming into Ojos. Then we could see him again, so he had caught back up. He comes flying by, just railing turns like damn, this guy is gonna wad it up. Ojos is a really long speed zone. He was right on our ass.
car came from the back. He came from like fifth. He's got second or first if you got around him. So back it up. There's one up in front. Either it's them or us, because ours isn't updating. And then 11:11, 11:45 is falling back already. They're like in fifth, according to the tracker.
We were battling through Ojos.
And we're kind of trading back and forth. You know, we're trying to call our speed limits.
You know, 36, 37, 36, and he was a little farther back. And then he would catch up and then fall back. And we were like neck and neck, like just looking at them. They were looking at us. Like, we don't want to do more than 37 because you're going to get a speed penalty on the highway through the city, like the two lead 11 cars. And it was like a crazy battle.
I always kept the mentality like, I'm not here to race anybody except the Mexican desert. I'm here to race Baja. You run your race, I'll run my race, and we'll shake it out at the podium, see how it shakes out, right? Because if you go down there with that 11 car and you're trying to race guys, it ain't gonna work.
1100 race. If you copy, it's just you two. Nobody else has made it to the road crossing. So keep it clean, guys. Don't fall into the trap. Keep it clean. So you see, that's a fucking game, right? And those guys came from fifth.
Okay.
We started second. No other cars have passed yet. So that shows you the pace that we're running. That guy's running faster because he came from 5 cars back. Now he's tied with us. They said on the radio that he had gotten around him. So we got back around him. It's a long race. We're at race mile 30. Don't fall into the trap of having this guy bait you into racing, because we're not racing this fucking guy.
You're racing
We're
yourself.
racing the desert, and we don't want to fall into his trap.
And then eventually it goes back to race speed, and you know, we both get on it.
It's time to change, you won't know how. It won't matter years from now. No matter what you think or do or say, everything turns gray.
And the guy was on the rails, just, you know, all over the course.
And he passed us with intention.
We thought, you know, to be honest, that he might wild it up.
And we just kind of let him go. We're like, all right, this guy's crazy. Even though I really wanted to try to reel him in and you know, catch him.
I think they got lucky that they didn't break that car.
He's gonna break. Like, you can't drive like that the entire race and not break or have problems.
No matter what they think or do or say, everything turns gray.
Started running a good pace, picked off a few other random race vehicles. That's when some electrical problems struck.
The car just died out of nowhere.
Other battery. What? Other battery, go to 2 or something.
And we couldn't restart it. The ignition switch in the dash was not working at all.
Yeah. We have no ignition. There's not, everything's hooked up, dude. I don't know what to do.
We weren't sure what the deal was, so, you know, we're jiggling wires all around. We're trying to, you know, trace down this electrical issue.
Get a hold of Clyde.
We seem to struggle with the communication sometimes. It's hard. There's only so much range, and you're racing through mountain ranges in Mexico. I mean, you're just like so out there.
See if you got a cell signal. See if you got a cell signal.
I don't have any signal. 1100 to any chase truck, copy. 1100 race to any chase truck, copy. Weatherman, 1100 race, do you copy? Clyde or anybody got a copy? Clyde or anybody got a copy on the sat phone?
So I'm sitting there, I'm waiting in the pit, you know, we're tracking, we're doing all our shit. And my phone rings, and I see it's Alex calling. And I'm like, if the cell phone rings or the sat phone goes off and it's one of the guys in the car, that's no bueno. To be able to have that sat phone is huge, but boy, do I hate hearing that thing go off.
Do you guys copy us? Do you guys copy us? We have no ignition. The ignition switch is not working. The car died and it won't restart. Copy? Pete, do these guys have a truck that could bump start us?
Hey, you guys got a truck right there? Yeah, maybe if we could try to like get our rolling start and see if we could drop the clutch and fire this thing up.
So we had some locals that were watching the race. They came, gave us a push.
Hold on. Drop it.
Get it.
Same thing, car ended up dying a second time, more downtime.
Ah, the fuck, why'd the fuel pump keep shutting off?
Baja has a way of just figuring things out for you, right? You think like you're so jammed up and you don't know what to do, and then somehow something happens and you get out of the jam that you thought you were in.
I think at that point we had gotten passed by one car. I think it was 1121, Bochito. Got back by him fairly quick.
finding and fixing the wire that was kind of damaged. It just needed to be crimped on harder to the contact point. Then we had to go do the summit.
I'm gonna steal me a silver stallion with not a mark upon his silky hide. Teach him he can trust me like a brother. One day we'll saddle up and ride. And we're gonna ride. We're gonna ride. Ride like a one-eyed jack of diamonds with the devil close behind. We're gonna ride. Find me a reckless woman, razor blades and dice in her eyes, just a touch of sadness in her fingers, thunder and lightning in her thighs.
While Alex and Pete fight through the final silty miles of their first section, Clyde and rookie navigator Eric, aka Chris, prepare to take on San Felipe through the night, a place best known for its never-ending sand washes, Volkswagen-sized whoops, and fine silt that can swallow a car whole. For Clyde, it's just another day at the office, but for Eric, a nerve-wracking first night on the job at the biggest, baddest, most infamous race in the world. One mistake on his part and this race could be over in the blink of an eye for the whole team. The off-road equivalent of playing your first football game at the Super Bowl.
Exactly 1 year ago, I went to my first off-road race, a Baja 1000, and Clyde told me, don't fucking touch the car. One of our crew members ended up in jail at the Baja 500, so the team made a last-minute decision to put me in his position, mostly just holding the flashlight, giving someone the car jack, changing a tire, simple stuff. But that was my first taste at the 500 this year, and this will be my first time navigating any sort of race. To stay on pace, we need to finish this section by 6 a.m. It's gonna be a long night and a long day tomorrow getting this car to the finish, so.
And then we brought it into mile marker 160.
We handed the car off to Clyde and Eric, and we were in second place at the time.
All right, it's gonna be fucked up.
You gotta do something about the rebound and these rear shocks. Adjust the clickers or something. We're fucking like a fucking rodeo bull.
How does the compression feel? The compression feels good.
Like, do you think you could add?
It's just fucking launching us, and we're just so slow through small whoops because we're just swapped. You know what I mean? We're not staying straight.
See you tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Got 2 lights. Hey, you're top dog. The tire in the front.
Rough ride?
Yeah, that was a fun one, man. Alex did a kick-ass job of driving while we were on it, and we got ourselves back towards the front, so hopefully we can keep it there, you know?
I enjoy driving at night. I mean, it's cooler, car runs better. I can't see all the hazards, right? So I don't know if I'm on a cliff or not. The challenge that you have at night is if there's dust, because if it's dark and then the dust hangs, that can be a bitch.
And it's super sketchy sometimes, but it's also kind of like the rush.
Sometimes you're driving blind.
You know, to stay wide open in the dust is kind of hardcore. A lot of guys don't, but you know, if you want to win, you got to push the envelope a little bit. When you get in the dust, you just got to trust your navigation. And that's a lot of trust between the driver and the navigator too, to be able to try to keep you generally on course.
There was a little bit of an adjustment period at the beginning, trying to figure out when to call the note so that he's not hitting the brakes too early, but also so we're not blowing it. After getting yelled at a couple times, we started to settle into a pretty good rhythm.
Eric's head was really in the game. We were making time on that Flamonte car. We were making time on the leaders. After I pre-ran it, I was like, dude, we have never finished the San Felipe 250. Now you want me to solo the fucking thing. At the time, I was like, what the fuck am I doing, dude? This is gonna take forever. I was dreading it, only because we've had such bad luck there, and I was able to pull it off with Eric.
1,000 miles to you. I dried your tears of pain.
We had a really good, clean run, way ahead of pace, faster than I thought we would run through there. The car was running good. We didn't make any mistakes. It was a lot of fun. Whenever I get out of the car, I'm never sore. Dude, I got out of that car and I was fucking beat. I mean, I was sore for 2 days. And it's just because it was nonstop, just bucking and just shit for, what, 7 hours or 6 hours, however long it took us to get through there.
Despite putting together a flawless run, Oliver Flamonte was putting together a flawless run of his own in the 11:05 a car lacking in slet and power but weighing in over 500 pounds lighter than the trusty old GHA 1100. Still, it seemed like an unsustainable pace, leaving Clyde impressed, yet puzzled.
I don't know how they're getting away from this, dude. Maybe I was babying the car too much.
There's no way you can go faster.
It would now be up to Tim and navigator Nelson Fonte to reel him in and regain their usual spot in the lead.
There's nothing you can do in the whoops.
You're definitely not skipping over those San Felipe whoops like a trophy truck can.
You need to find a rhythm and kind of stick to it, you know.
Like everyone's got their own strategy. You either just roll it straight on or you're gonna crisscross, right? And you're gonna try to like catch the side of each whoop.
If you hear the car slamming at all, you're driving too fast.
There's no doubt you can break it pretty quick.
If you go a little faster, but then you break the car, you just went slower.
You're just gonna get the shit beat out of you in a whoop section, and it's just the way it is in class 11, you know? Feel like you're getting punched in the chest over and over again.
I'm sick and I'm tired and I can't take any more pain. Take away never to return again. Take away this ball and chain.
1100 is release mile 469 moving, 469 moving for 1100.
Upon arriving in San Matias, Tim had serious concerns with the steering. It was fading quick, feeling sloppier and less responsive with each whoop, and they were nearing the turnoff for Mike's Sky Ranch, an inaccessible 100-mile stretch of communication dead zone, and the nastiest mountain terrain Baja has to offer. Pushing through this would be race suicide, and ultimately they'd have no choice but to do some creative modifications to the steering box before sending him back out into the night.
The bolt fell out. Oh no, it broke off.
I mean, we must have been down, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I don't know, maybe even an hour. I wasn't paying attention.
So That was a little bit of an oh shit moment, because that's a pretty critical spot, right? Because you're going up and over mics from there.
And then it's just a shit show from there. Hill climb after hill climb, silt bed and hill climb right after another. I just really hope that there's some GoPro footage that shows some of the stuff we went through.
Unfortunately, only Tim and Nelson would bear witness to what Mike's threw at them that night, as the impromptu pit in San Matias would cause the GoPro batteries to die before making new dust, and the two wouldn't be seen or heard from until after sunrise.
Our chase plan this year was really challenging.
And what made this 1,000 hard is we had to have chase crews on both sides of the peninsula.
After we handed the car off, we had to get to the other side of the peninsula to get in our second section. So Alex and I got in chase 1 and we headed back to Ensenada, and then we headed down the western side of the peninsula, and we got down there 5 a.m., 6 a.m.
So half the team was on the Pacific side, the rest of the team was on the San Felipe side. So it was quite a challenge. I mean, logistically, it sucked.
I handed the car off in second place at race mile 580 to Alex and Pete. From the time I got up, 6 o'clock Friday morning, until the time I actually got out of the car at 9:30 Saturday morning, I'd actually been up for almost 28 hours. You get 20, 25, 30 hours into a race and you're just like completely exhausted, you know. It takes special people to say, you know what, we're like, giving up is not in our nature, you know, and that is something that I think this team was built upon, you know, and it's kind of like we got these group of guys together, started out a little rough, and then soon realized, all right, there's no quit in any of us, let's go for this.
We jumped in the car and we took off. Not more than 10 miles into Alex and I's section, the hook stop broke, and then the ball joint broke on the upper arm. We had to wait for the chase truck to come and bring us some spare parts there. That was some significant downtime.
Probably took, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes because we had to do some stuff on both sides of the car.
Just like you, so move on inside because I'm coming. No matter how hard you try, you can't stop me now. No matter how hard you try.
A big part of what makes the Baja 1000 so exciting is its relatively short rulebook, leaving many decisions up to the participants' own judgment and common sense. A freedom you just won't find racing in the States anymore, where the liability is so great, pit stops can only be done in designated zones and you need a pair of binoculars to watch the race from a mile away. A real buzzkill if you ask me. Down here, on the other hand, you can not only get up close and personal, you can even drive right on the course as long as you're going with the flow of traffic.
You guys got a race car coming up quick.
For the crew, the next 30 miles would be spent behind the car on cliffside trails, dodging race vehicles on a live course. Try that one racing in the States and see how it works out for you.
We ran clean down by the water, and then we took the highway. We had a couple speed zones, got on the crossover road.
And then we ended up having a transmission failure.
A ring and pinion went out of the car.
We decided immediately, okay, we're gonna have to change this trans.
654.4 is where they said they're at, and they need the trans.
Luckily, the chase truck and some of the other chase vehicles were behind us.
We're about 652. We'll get there as soon as we can.
And then everybody just jumped in. It was get the car jacked up, get the rear wheel. There was no like, oh, what are we gonna do? We made a decision instantly. We have to change this trans.
So we're doing that literally on the crossover road, right on the edge of a cliff. It was pretty opportune though, because if we would have been 3 miles down the road, we would have been off into an area where we would have never been able to change it.
10-4, we're here. Armando. They're putting a tranny in it.
The bug?
Yeah, they broke the trans. Got the best guys in the business on it.
You know, it's really hard to find a group of guys that mesh together and can go spend 2 days with no sleep together and accomplish what we have. I have raced on a lot of teams that are so dysfunctional. Everybody's fighting, people are arguing, people are quitting, and we have not had one person like that on the team. That's not easy to find.
It's really easy to give up, to walk away from a race, but they don't give up. It's a professional team. They go and do the job, and no matter what it takes, but they always get the job done.
I'll tell you, like Baja Racing to me, like I said before, I mean, it's about going down there with your team. It's about building trust with people. And it's about just when you think you can't do it anymore, suck it the fuck up and do it some more. Just straight up. And I don't want to hear any sniveling. I don't want to hear any crying. If you're gonna bitch, you got the wrong team, dude. It pushes you to the edge, and you got to dig deep, and you dig deep, and then you're done, and you're exhausted, and then you got to dig deeper. Especially in the Class 11 car compared to the truck. Because in the truck, you didn't have to dig that deep. When that thing was running good, you just had to keep after it. This stuff wears you out, dude. You know, mentally, emotionally, physically. Class 11 is way harder than racing in the truck. Way harder.
We started getting concerned with the time limit probably when we were changing the transmission.
From the transmission is probably when we really started questioning, can we make it? Because we felt good all the way up till then, even with the other stuff that had happened.
By the time we changed the transmission, there was just seemingly no way.
And we knew we were cutting it close.
So we started really breaking down how much time do we have left to get to the end of the race. If we get to Valley T by a certain time, can we make it? If we get here by a certain time.
We were still under the gun, like we couldn't have anything else happen to make it to the finish.
Okay, he's warmed it up and he's on his way, and we're on our way also. Okay, 10-4.
By the time Pete and I got to Valley T and handed the car off to Armando and Edgar, we basically told them at that point we didn't have any room for error, for repairs. I mean, we were down to the wire on time. If they could just do their last section clean and not stop, we would make it to the finish on the allotted time and in second place at that time.
Yourself and you must say, I remember better days.
We have approximately 5 hours of counting.
Don't you cry, 'cause she is gone. She is only moving on, chasing the rest through a haze.
We all get in the car and it's already beat to shit, but they had it pretty bad.
They got it the worst for sure.
By the time I took off, we only have 5.5 hours. When I did the math, I figured out 6 hours to finish. We didn't have 6 hours to finish. I didn't want to give up. I didn't want to say there's no way I'm not going to make it. I said, I know I can do it, and I will do it. I knew if I drive smart, I could make it. Unfortunately, I made my first mistake. When Alex handed the car to me, he told me, be careful with the rear suspension. It's buckling a lot. I didn't expect the suspension worked that bad. So as soon as I got out the highway, going up the GO trail, I lost control and I got stuck on top of a big boulder. And that took me some time to get out of there. My co-driver has to get out and push the car. So we were battling with that big boulder until I got out of there.
I hear it talking through the trees and on the window pane. When I hear it, I just can't believe I never liked the rain. Like the rain, I am falling for you, and I know just why you like the rain. Always calling for you, I'm falling for you now, just like the rain.
After that, I started playing a little more smart. The rear suspension didn't work, so it took me a while to get used to the suspension. And after that, I was able to speed up a little bit more. And the more I was driving it, going through a lot of stuff, I started learning more and more and more until I was able to handle it.
Yes, I've known all along, I just belong here with you, falling like the rain. I'm falling for you, and I know just why you like the rain. Always calling for you, I'm falling for you now, just like the rain. I'm falling for you, I'm falling for you now, just like the rain.
By that time, the steering column had broke loose from the car.
That's when I noticed the little play on the steering wheel. It was way too loose, and all of a sudden that thing just collapsed on my lap, and then I started having issues with the clutch pedal and the brake pedal.
A giant spring that holds the iPad in there, the mount had blown apart. It happened to find a home between the pedals.
Sometimes I had clutch, sometimes I had brakes.
He knew that one of those pedals wouldn't work the whole time. You just didn't know which one until you tried to press it. So you go press these pedals and you know either my clutch isn't gonna push in or my brake's not gonna push in. And I got my fucking steering column all over like this.
But I couldn't stop. We needed to go the fastest we could. It was a challenge.
I got out at 680 and then we jammed to 795, which was really like the last spot we were gonna see the race car.
We started a fire, everybody was there, all the media guys were there. You know, we had to have the shit kicked out of us. The race was winding down. It was kind of like, it is what it is at this point.
But we were stressing on time, you know, so it was just constantly refresh on the tracker.
We were just tracking him nonstop, looking at the time.
Keep watching him, we're seeing where he's at, how many miles are left in the race. I mean, we're just calculating shit nonstop. You know, you're looking at the possibilities and you're saying this is not possible, but you don't want that to be true. You want it to be possible. If he has to stop here for anything, it's over. The only chance is to fucking push it as hard as he can on the ragged edge.
When I was getting close to Ojos, I called on the radio and I said, I am at the speed zone.
We go, well, if he drives the speed limit in the speed zones, it's not gonna make it.
And they told me, forget the speed zone. You need to speed up. We're running out of time.
And I told him, dude, you gotta blow the speed zones, man. You just gotta go.
Why don't you go straight across? There's a big hole in the middle, but don't stop. You don't care about the speed zone, you mean? No, fuck the speed zone, go!
yeah, those boys made a push to the end like nobody's business, man.
Those 30 miles, they were the most difficult because, like I said, I didn't have brakes, I didn't have clutch. I was having a hard time, and then I had the whole crew waiting for me after they worked so many hours. You know, I couldn't let them down. So I had to keep on going the fastest I could until I got to the finish line.
And we're the last Class 11 running. We're probably one of the last people on course. At that point, we just wanted to be on that podium with our entire team. You know, that was like very important.
The last 30 miles of the race, running back to the start line, it was cool because we had Starlink, so we had service that whole way. Traditionally, you wouldn't have any service through there, so you wouldn't have any idea until you popped out in Ensenada what had happened or if they're still moving.
Still tracking and tracking and tracking, and oh, I think he's gonna make it. Oh, there's no way. You know, everyone kind of had their own opinion, and it was just like just nonstop on the phones.
Pete was wearing out the refresh button on his tracker.
And I probably refreshed that tracker 2,500 times throughout the last, 50 miles of the race.
He's at 8:02.5. He has 41 minutes. Still got to go through one kind of hairy section.
Oh man, it's gonna be so close.
No update for 3 minutes. That's stressful, dude. 33 minutes, 17 miles to go. I don't know, bro. He's going 41, he's good. We're not gonna make it, Clyde, I don't think. I don't know, man. It's literally gonna be down to the minute. We're at 8:08. Come on, give me an update. 21 miles an hour at 8:08.2. Oh man, I don't know. Oh, he just jumped way up. He's at 8:10. Bro, he's gonna make it. I'm going through a roller coaster right now. It's 8:10 on the dot, going 31 miles an hour. 24 minutes to make this. This is so gnarly. Hey, this is where all that effort adds up. It either pays off or it don't. 8:11. Oh, he's cooking. Yeah, he's gonna make it. 8:12 and a half. 20 minutes exactly left. He's got to go about 10, 11 miles. Probably hit refresh like 2,000 times. This is what it's all about right here. This is not a place for people who give up easy. 8:13.7, 16 minutes. 8:14 and a half. He's gonna hit the highway in 5 miles. 14 minutes. We have 11 minutes.
I might have to smoke an actual cigarette when we get out. I don't know.
This is gonna be within a minute. He's almost 8:17, 8 minutes to go. 8:19.3, he's about to get on the highway.
Baja's not for the weak, the people who give up. Gotta grind it all the way out.
Oh man, it's gonna be to the second, literally.
The final vehicle to make it up to the line right here, 1100 2021 champion in Class 11, the hardest way around this course. Not only driving this thing, but you guys ripped the whole thing apart, tranny arms, 36 hours in this bad boy. Well, you got it done. That just shows how badass your team is. You guys are the unsung heroes of desert racing.
Cold hard steel, baby.
Sauce, you couldn't have wrote that fucking story, bro. You couldn't have wrote that, dude.
Finished by 1 minute to spare. Last car on the line.
36 hours later, here we are.
Lost a couple brain cells and a couple bruised fingers, but it was worth it.
Nobody knows what we went through, only me. Dude, I finished. That's all that matters to me, I finished.
I said statistically 20% of the cars are going to finish this loop race. 7 started. One's going to finish, flip a coin on the second. We won the coin toss. Disconnect your steering column and finish the Baja 1000. Be a man.
Once upon a time in Baja.
Next year, La Paz to Ensenada. That one will be ours.
I would hope and I would think that the whole team agrees with this statement. that we hate losing more than we love winning. But there's a lot of people out there that have tried to cross that finish podium and have failed, you know. So whether you win or you finish last place in your class, making it over that finish podium is a win in itself. There's no feeling like it.
Check that guy's cock out. Fucking huge.
You should have asked him, dude, do you mind if I touch your cock?
Yeah, cock was intimidating.
Yeah. So he's just walking around with it out. With his kid, wife and kid.
That fool started at 3 a.m. yesterday. What the fuck is he doing? Fucking hog. When Sauce brought, hey, we need a film crew. I didn't think this was gonna get.
No, this is not what you signed up for?
Not really. I'm not bummed about it though.
No. Landed sideways. I don't know how I was able to put it back on the course. I don't know how it didn't flip the car right there. I mean, God was with us.
Somebody just said they need a tranny.
This transmission is more legal than the one that broke.
We did a transmission change out, a rear drum change out, a front arm change out on both sides, and then another front arm change out on the passenger side. Yeah, we did a lot of shit.
We just shot at race mile 85 and we're heading back to the road, and this guy flags me down, says, I need gas. My guys are stranded out here. Now we are heading backwards, probably ruining our own timeline, but we're gonna save these guys a day. Keep them in the race.
120 hot dogs for $2,400.
I know what we're eating after the race.
Chief Glizzies. Yeah, take down that number. Add to contacts right now.
We got the S. I know, dude. It looks so hairy. Here. It looks so nice where we are too. Is that where? That's the straight line, is us, right?
Yeah, that's where we're at.
We could finish, but not in the time frame.
And your Hauscher?
100%.
And 17 miles, 25, 35, 42 miles to go, and we have an hour and 24 minutes to do it. So we need to average 27-ish miles an hour. It's plausible, dude. I think we're gonna make it. It's just he's got to grind it out. Armando's a beast. He's hauling the mails.
It's possible with no fucking
hiccup.
nothing.
He's gotta get after it.
He's got to teabag that shifter. It is possible, Sauce. I retract my decision.
Race the Baja 1000 in Class 11. Be a man!
Racing the Score Series has brought a lot of attention, you know, to our team, and we got a lot of fans in Baja across, you know, the countries and whatnot. And just, you know, thank you everybody for your support, and we'll see everybody in La Paz in 2023.